Welcome to Life Ablaze. So today my guides have told me that the topic will be time. So here we go. We are here. We welcome you. We are here today to discuss the idea of time. We understand that there is quite a lot of ideas around this concept. It is, in many ways, what your society is structured upon. This is how you know when to get where you need to go, at what time, where to rendezvous with others. It is also how you measure your lives. But we are here to tell you today that much of this is of your own construction. There is, in fact, no construct of time in the non-physical, at least not as you would understand it. It is, in a sense, already completed. Everything is, in a sense, already all of the possible permutations that your free will can direct you through. Now, we can sense that the channel is resisting us on this idea. Let us explain. So much of your time, as you know it, is subjective. And you can see this in many different of your own physical experiences. You can say, for instance, that if you are waiting in line, time seems to slow down. But when you are very much enjoying yourself, time seems to fly by. How can this be if time is as uniform and as structured as you believe it to be? And that is our point. It is not as you believe it to be. How is this useful? Let us explore this. We would say that there are many ways that you utilize time as, in essence, a punishment, which is, of course, another aspect of your compartmentalization. A part of you may be upset at, for instance, how many years or how long you spent doing something that you know was not in your highest good. You may look at the yardstick of time and say, wow, I wasted a lot of years doing that or being in that relationship. Wasted years. This is one of the ideas that you utilize in terms of punishing yourself. Another would be the idea of deciding certain milestones of development that are supposedly to occur by a certain age. And you may measure yourself on such a yardstick against other individuals. But this is your own fabrication. There is no yardstick because there is no time. Now again, we are looking to move into greater alignment with our higher minds as part of this video series. And so, we are wanting to keep this discussion as practical as possible. Part of this is to understand that the higher mind is operating in a realm that is without time. And so, the things that you do, it knows. The things you are moving towards from your perspective, from the higher mind's perspective, you are already there. And this is what we mean by there is no time. That which you are to experience is already in existence on a non-physical level. The journey of your soul is, in all its possible permutations, already in existence on the other side of the veil. Now, this begins to stretch into different ideas of parallel realities, and we will discuss this topic in another video. But, in relation to time, there are many different options that you have, let's say in moving in one particular direction. Your free will is always supported, and the consciousness that is you can choose which way you go or how much you may, quote, delay a process, or how quickly you may dive in to that process. Your free will is supported at all times. And so, if there is an experience that you wish to experience, a version of you that you want to come into alignment with, it would serve you to let go of the idea of time, in the sense of how long it may take for you to get there. Because, in reality, you, the greater you, already is there. And so, it is less about the time that it takes for you to get from this place to that place, and it is more about the idea of letting go, releasing the idea that you are not already where you want to be. This is, in a sense, looking at the situation from the destination towards the beginning, instead of, as most of you view it, a race from start to finish. This perspective will allow you to speed through as much as serves you to the experience at the quote-unquote destination. And we are, of course, using this term metaphorically because there is no actual destination as in an end point. Each destination is yet another beginning, in a sense. And so, in discussing the idea of time, we are here to advise you to let go of all of the painful ways that you utilize time, in essence, to punish yourselves, to watch the clock while you are at a job that you do not want to be at, or in a relationship that you do not want to be in, to be thinking, how much more time must I endure this? And we discussed this idea in the video about suffering. And so, in utilizing time to your advantage, it would behoove you to begin to imagine the perspective of the higher mind, in the sense that what you want to experience already is. And while we understand that for as long as you are in this physical life, that the concept of time will be useful to you, it would also be useful to understand that this is simply a collective agreement. It is not a law of creation. It is simply an agreement. And you can choose to abide by that agreement only insofar as you would like. In fact, you are, as of this moment, only abiding by that agreement insofar as you are aware. Even using the examples that we gave at the beginning of this video of waiting in line or doing something that you very much enjoy, you are moving in a different time. You are moving through time in a different way. And so, the idea that we are discussing is such that were you to free yourself of the confines of this artificial structure that you have created, it may be useful at times, but it is detrimental at others. And if you were to free yourself of having to live your life according to this idea of a rigid time structure, then you would begin to find some very interesting things begin to happen in your experience. As you become more in alignment with your higher mind, you may begin to experience moving through time in a very different way. Many of you have had the experience of déjà vu, wherein you have the strong sensation that what you are doing for the very first time, you have somehow done before. This is part of the experience of the higher mind. This is a moment, a flash of coming into alignment with the perspective of the higher mind, because you have, in fact, been there. You have, in fact, experienced this from the perspective of the higher mind. And your physical mind, your physical experience had then caught up to the experience that the higher mind knew was essentially on its way for you. You, for a fleeting moment, moved out of your perspective from three-dimensional reality and into the perspective of the higher mind, and yet were also rooted in the third-dimensional reality, and so the experience of time was very different, and it can be quite disorienting. This is one of the ways that you will begin to experience some very unusual types of experiences in relation to time. Another will be that when you begin to explore your own history, shall we say, there will be moments that you will also have a feeling from the perspective of the higher mind, in the sense that it will not so much feel like a memory, but it will feel as if you are there. Because in essence, you are. You have removed yourself from the overriding structure of time, if only briefly, and begun to experience this freedom from this structure. And so, again, with the idea of practicality, we would suggest that you begin to as much as possible, let go of the idea of organizing your day according to time. Let the flow of your excitement take you instead. And you will find yourself where you need to be, when you need to be there, according to your own excitement, according to the rendezvous that have been orchestrated for you by your higher mind. This is the idea of synchronicity, which we will be discussing in depth in a later video. This idea of synchronicity is, in essence, a timelessness that you can begin to plug into. And as this is the way of things for the higher mind and for non-physical itself, if you begin to subscribe to this idea, you begin to, again, come into greater alignment with your higher mind. Our time is up for today, but we thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to speaking with you again next time. Thank you so much.